So I should start, right? Joseph Joubert said, and I quote, "It is better to debate a question without settling it than to settle a question without debating it." A very warm good afternoon to all the wonderful people present here, participants, judges, NSS volunteers, and the people watching us through our YouTube channel. I, Vivek Kumar, welcome you all to Wow War of Words. Let's debate it. A debate is an organized argument or contest of ideas in which the participants discuss a point from two opposing sides. Those who agree with the statements are the affirmatives, those who disagree are the negatives. Each side will show in a clever way why they believe to have the right answers. They will use examples, evidences to support their ideas while working towards conclusion. Now, I would like to welcome our judges for the debate, Avinab sir, Samantha ma'am, Rahul sir, Revati sir, Shivam sir. Sirs and ma'am, I'm very grateful that you are here. And now my co-host, Mr. Priyanshu, will brief you about the rules and judging criteria. So over to you, Priyanshu. Let's have the rules.
Thank you, Vivek. Good evening, everyone. Mukund, can we have the slide?
Yeah.
Now let me go through the rules and judgment criteria. The unparliamentary, rough, or rude words will not be entertained and lead to disqualification of the participant. Participants must maintain the decorum of the debate. Every participant will have 3 minutes to present their case or speech. After the second minute has passed, a warning buzzer will be blown for the speaker to warn the speaker that he or she is left with 1 minute of the allotted time. Exceeding the given limit of 3 minutes will lead to negative marking. The speech will be followed by a rebuttal round, that is a questioning round. Next slide, Mukund.
Yeah.
Rebuttal round will be of 2 minutes for each participant. After 1 minute, a warning buzzer will be blown to warn that they are left with 1 minute. During rebuttal round, other participants or audience, they have to just type me in the chat box to present their question. More preference will be given to participants to ask questions during rebuttal round. If no question is taken by the participants, then questions from the audience will be taken. No questions will be allowed after the allotted time interval of 2 minutes. Participants and audience who wish to ask a question have to raise hand in the chat box. The option is not available, so you have to write me in the chat box, and we will allow host or the convener will allow them to ask their question. One person can ask only one question to a speaker, and no cross questioning on the same question is allowed. Final buzzer will indicate that the allotted time to the speaker is over. Remember, participants supporting the opposite motion can only ask question to the speaker. For example, if I am asking, if I am saying my speech for the motion, then all the participants who are speaking against the motion, they can only rebuttal me or question me in the rebuttal round. If a speaker is speaking for the motion, yeah, same point. So I hope the rules is clear to everyone. Mukund, next slide.
Yeah.
So judgment criteria: 10 points for subject matter relevance, 10 points for voice modulation, 10 points for expression and gesture, and finally the 10 points for rebuttal session points. So I would now like to call my co-host Vivek to introduce the first participant. Vivek, over to you.
Just open the slide for the topic. Please let me introduce the topic to everyone.
Just a second.
So our topic is science and religious beliefs are necessarily antithesis of each other. Okay, they are different. So now I would like to call our first speaker, Deepak Kumar from branch of Mechanical, UK20 BIT Sindri. He will be going for the motion. And we have Deepak. Are you there? Deepak, are you there? I guess Deepak is not there, so Priyanshu, you can move on with the next speaker.
So the next speaker is Krishna Kumar Jha. He is currently pursuing his BTech from BIT Sindri, branch electrical, batch of 2020, and he
Oh
will be
wait,
speaking.
Priyanshu, just a minute, just a minute. It's an error from my side.
Oh,
Just a minute.
you have opened another PPT. Oh,
Yeah. That's okay.
I think Randhir is first.
We advise all the participants to switch on their cameras, please.
Participants, please switch on your cameras. Okay, we have Randhir Kumar. He will be presenting. He will be going for the motion. He's from Metallurgy, 2K20 BIT Sindri. So, Randhir, are you there?
Vivek, also present the screen for the timer.
Yeah, sure. Randhir, are you there? Seems like Randhir is not there, so we can move with Krishna.
Okay, Krishna, you can go ahead.
Okay, Krishna, just wait. Let me present the timer. Okay, Krishna, you can speak. Is the timer visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Krishna, you
Oh,
can
but I'm
start.
from negative.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
you can.
you can speak.
Okay. Religious and science are similar in my sense, but not much, but it is similar. Religious told us how to. Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Uh, religious told us manners and livelihood, etc. etc. Science also told it that I, in my sense, they are similar to teach or anything else.
You can take help of the paper in which you have prepared.
Yeah, you can take help.
If you have forgotten your speech, then you can take help.
Okay.
Krishna, the time is running, so please be quick.
Sorry. Yes, science and religions are closely interconnected in the scientific study of religions. Uh, the religions, emotions, culture, behavior, humanity, all those things are similar to science.
Krishna, you can speak in Hindi also if you want to.
I'm comfortable, but, but I don't know what to do.
Okay, Krishna, no problem.
No one is there. I'm from negative depart for. I can't.
Okay, no problem, Krishna.
Okay, no problem, Krishna.
Okay, Gayatri, over to you. You can start the rebuttal round.
Okay, so let's start the rebuttal round. If anyone has any question, just write me in the comment section. We will take your question. Anyone from the audience or participants or judge also. Anyone. Yes, Neha, you can say. You can ask your question.
Yeah, actually, he didn't answer, but he was already repeating again and again that science and religion. I want to ask him, can you give only one example? Not both the same.
Yes.
Sneha,
Hello.
please speak loud, a bit louder.
Can you give any one example that you said science and religious beliefs both are same to prove your argue?
Yes, I can. सभी को मालूम है कि वही हम रिलीजियस हो या साइंस हो, संस्कार हमें या फिर नैतिक मूल्य हमें बचपन से सिखाए जाते हैं। और इन सभी नैतिक मूल्य में आपको ये पता ही होगा कि बचपन से हम लोगों को ये आदत दिलवाया जाता है कि भाई आपको हाथ पैर धो के पढ़ना है, आपको खाना पीना हाथ पैर धो के ही है, साफ सुथरा रहना वगैरह वगैरह, ये हमारी परंपरा में, रिलीजियस में, धर्म में भी है। और ये चीज हमें साइंस से भी सीखने को मिलता है। तो ये चीज तो हम तो साइंस से कह सकते हैं कि और भी बहुत सारे एग्जांपल्स है। मैं तो अभी एक एग्जांपल आपके सामने दे रहा हूँ। ऐसे और भी बहुत सारे एग्जांपल्स है। देयर आर सो मेनी एग्जांपल्स टू एक्सप्लेन दिस।
Anyone else has any question?
Everyone, please switch on your cameras. Participants, and if anyone has any question, please ask. I'm zooming out.
Anyone?
Okay, so I think we should move to the next participant. So we'll have Sneha Kumari from Production and Industrial Branch, BIT Sindri 2K20. She will be going for the motion. So Sneha, can we have you? Please start your
Okay,
motion.
Krishna, now you can mute yourself.
ओके सर।
Sneha?
Am I audible?
Yes, Sneha. Start.
Respected jury panels, seniors, NSS volunteers, and all the debaters present here, a very good afternoon to all. Myself Sneha Kumari, and as we know, our today's debate topic is science and religious beliefs are necessarily antithesis of each other, and I am going to speak in the favor of the topic. Before moving further, I would like to clear what is science and what is religious belief. Science means beginning of thoughts logically and have a proper proof and evidence. But religious beliefs is the beginning of blindness and generally have not a proper ideology about the things happen. I am going to put some points here to make my points more clear. First is, science says development of human in nature is a scientific process. But religious belief says we have taken birth by God. Point number second, science concerns the natural world while religious mostly focus on spiritual and natural world sometimes. Point number three, presence of religious beliefs means the presence of superstition which is not real or possible. For example, magic. But presence of science means having reality, truth, and factual details. In short, I would like to say that if we talk about science, then it itself is a very wide, and to limit it with religious point of view is just madness. Religious belief is also very wide since ancient time. I already mentioned some points earlier to prove how science and religious beliefs contradict each other. Now, conclusion is that when we start learning religious religion religion deeply, there are lots and lots of religious things present around us whose scientific explanation is not available, or we can say science has capability to cross the limit of the world. It is capable to break the law of universe, but it failed to explain religious belief properly. But still, if science proves anything religious beliefs, then people deny to accept that. So, on the basis of given facts, it can be said that science doesn't have explanation of religious belief, or both science and religious beliefs are contradictory to each other. So, this is for my side. Thank you for giving me opportunity to put my points. Thank you.
Thank you, Sneha. Gayatri, over to you.
Okay, so anyone has any question?
Yeah. Hello, Sneha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned that science has answer to everything, and most of the time, religious belief are based on superstition or the what spiritual world, as you mentioned. So, do you think that there is something called consciousness that exists in human beings? Consciousness, like you are conscious of debating, you're thinking. That consciousness, the ability of a person or a man to think or to be conscious about the world and everything around it, or you can say the cognitive ability in more scientific terms. So, science or biology or whatever you say has not yet given any answer to consciousness. Like there are many theories that all the chemicals produce consciousness and all, but at the end, science has no answer. And when we delve deep into philosophy or spirituality, we get answer to consciousness. So how would you explain this?
So actually, all the points you mentioned, I think I already mentioned in my speech. That what I said, you are saying the same things. So what is the clear question? I'm not understanding.
I'm saying that the consciousness, science has no answer to human consciousness, but spirituality, religion does by taking into account the soul. Okay. So how would you explain this? If religion and okay, let me clarify more. If religion and science does not go hand to hand, then how would you explain human? Like the physical properties of human can be explained by science, but the consciousness cannot. So I believe that they walk together hand to hand.
Yeah, but at the same time, science believes the consciousness and it gives most of the things that it says. There are something like consciousness present in the environment, and that's why I told before that both of the we can't connect both of the things. Both of the things are very far different, and that's why I think you are asking that question to me. Either you didn't heard me clearly, or either you didn't understand what I said. I think.
Okay, thank you, Sneha. So, Priyanshu, we can move on to the next.
Yes. So our next speaker is Aniket Singh. He is currently pursuing his BTech in BIT Sindri, Mechanical Branch, batch of 2K20, and he will be speaking against the motion.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, yes, you're audible.
So, good afternoon to all the people in general present in the meet. Myself, Aniket Singh, and I'm going to deliver my speech on the topic Science and Religious Belief are necessary antithesis of each other. So, basically, science and religion seem to have been at odds with each throughout the history. So basically, this has affected the course of humanity, and scientists believe in what they know because they believe in reason. So basically, this topic is primarily driven up by some of the factors. So let me cite one example of a famous tourist spot that is Jagannath Temple. So basically, the flag of the Jagannath Temple usually flows against the wind. So basically, scientists don't have means that scientists don't find any reason yet, but the religious belief have means they usually have more than 5 to 6 reasons. So basically, here the scientists do believe in the religious. So basically, there are also some examples in which the people present here would say that the science and the religious belief are antithesis of each other. So that let me cite. So basically, let me cite their example also, that some people believe that wearing a ring would probably be would would probably be protecting you from the unwanted souls or the some kinds of thing, but the science used to tell that the metals are the good for health, and means the nerves of the ring finger are connected throughout the heart, so basically they helps in the pumping of blood. So basically the main motive is to say that the science and the religious belief have the same perspective, but the way of expressing themselves is usually different. So here we just can't say that they both are antithesis of each other. Like some people says that we have more rains in the month of June and July, so that they believe that the some god and goddess may be very, so that they believe that some god and goddess are some god and goddess are probably be disappointed in the month of June and July. But the science do have a reason for that, that the northeast wind hits the cloud, so that's why we have the intense rainfall. So basically here means the topic is that in which we just can't predict that the science and the religious belief are the antithesis of each other. So basically, underscoring my points and summing of them, I would like to say that they both are necessarily not a antithesis of each other.
Okay, so now we will move to the rebuttal session. If anyone has any question, you may ask. Anyone?
Okay, Aniket, you spoke in the favor of the motion or against the motion? Yeah, like
Yes, you
they
mentioned
are
against the
not
motion.
antithesis of each other, no?
Yes, they are not antithesis
Yeah,
of each other.
yeah. So, I mean, ever since the development of science, from the Catholic Church imprisoning Copernicus to this modern day,
Yes.
religion has impeded the progress of science. So, how would you explain this? I mean, the Pope, the Catholic Church still doesn't believe that the theory of Genesis in the Bible is not correct and the Darwinian model is correct. So, how would you explain this? I mean, these are
So
two contrasting things.
basically, so basically I mentioned in my point that they both have a same perspective, but the way of expressing the reason is different, and it also depends upon a people that some people could easily be so that some people could easily be mobilized by the superstitious belief, but some people don't usually mobilize, but the science usually pretend to have more reason from the means the science means that usually the science have the more reason from all those belief, but see, but from here we just can't predict that they both are antithesis of each other.
Any more question? Anyone, if you have any question, you may ask now.
Hello, am I
Time is
audible?
running.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I'll take 1 minute extra.
Yes,
Okay. So you gave instances of some 2-3 instances about how these two topics are
yes, sir.
coherent to each other, right? But in most of the
Coherent.
cases, like in case of superstitions, 1 minute more. Okay, there was some problem. Okay, so in case of superstition, yeah, the science is kind of disagreeing to the religious beliefs. All right, like for instance, like we also, as Shivam just said, if we take the example of, let's say, the flat earth theory, then it goes typically exactly against the theories of science, but it was there, right?
Yes,
in
sir.
terms of religion, as the world is or the whole universe is created around one single entity, that is the humans, right? So how would you explain that? How is not that antithesis?
So, sir, basically the same. So, generally the same reason goes for you, that it totally depends upon a people that how much they believe in the superstitious. Means as we can say that the superstitious belief tends the people to be, means the superstitious belief leads the people in the dark. So that's why the fraudsters are now going gullible to make a fraud nowadays.
But that still does not explain if these both, like science and religion, go hand in hand. All right, so that'll be
Hello.
that'll be the time. All right.
So
Okay, time
means
is up.
basically they both have the same perspective, but the way of expressing themselves is totally different. So
Okay,
we just
Aniket.
can't predict from here.
Aniket, time is up. So we will move forward. So now we will have Pratham Raj from Civil Engineering Branch, BIT Sindri 2K20. He will be going for the motion. Pratham, are you there? Do we have Pratham there? Pianshu, is Pratham there?
Pratham is not here.
No, Pratham is not here actually.
Okay, Priyanshu, then you can move on to the next debater.
So our next speaker is Isha, and she's currently pursuing BTech from BIT Sindri Chemical Branch, batch of 2K19, and she will be speaking against the motion. Ma'am, you can go ahead. Are you there, ma'am?
Is Isha ma'am there?
She's not there.
Okay, then we should move forward. Okay.
Okay.
So the next speaker is Joysa Veswath. She is pursuing her electronic and telecommunication BTech from KIT Kalinga. She is a batch 2K20. So Joysa, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, she's there.
Yeah, Joysa. So you can start.
A very hearty good afternoon to one and all present over this online platform. This is Joysha Babsud, and I will be speaking in favor of the topic Science and Religion's beliefs are necessarily antithesis for each other. Science and religion are like two different windows for looking at the same world. They are like oil and water, which cannot be mixed together to form a homogeneous mixture. Science and religion are like fundamentally incompatible. Science is based on observation and reasoning from observations, whereas religion assumes that human beings can access a deeper level of information that is not available by either observation or a reason. Science has no explanation for some of the religious beliefs. Like, I want to give an example of animal sacrifices in some of the religions. It has no explanation, and if someone raises his voice against such beliefs, then he is considered as a non-follower of God. Science has nothing to say about religious beliefs except when these beliefs make an assertion about the natural world that contradicts scientific knowledge. This is a scientific matter. Let us take a case when pandemic arose. This is a scientific matter, but when some people taking it religiously tell that it's a punishment from God to human beings, these things cannot be true. We must understand that the science provides us knowledge that is fully tested with correct explanation, and believing blindly on something like religious beliefs causes nothing but chaos. So now I want to conclude that science and religion cannot coexist. We need to understand which one is correct for us. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Joysa. Gayatri, over to you.
Okay, so let's start the rebuttal session. If anyone has any question, you may ask.
So I have a question. So, Joysa, as you mentioned about superstitious beliefs, so first things first, that superstition has nothing to do with religious beliefs. These two are completely different things. Okay. So, since you said that both of them, as both religious beliefs as well as science believe in the same thing. Okay. Only they both have different explanations for it. So these cannot be completely opposite, as the topic itself says. The topic is that both of them are completely opposite to each other, but the explanations that you have put here is about superstitious beliefs that people have, but that has nothing to do with religious beliefs.
Sorry, but I think you have not understood my point. I have said that superstitions are I'm not said that religion and science are somehow same or like that. I'm said that they're completely opposite because when superstition comes, it comes only under the part category of religion, because religion comes with some part of superstitions.
Okay, but Joysa, if both these things, science and religion, are so anti to each other, then how would you explain Oppenheimer, learning Sanskrit and studying Gita in the Manhattan Project?
Sorry, please can you repeat your question?
Do you know about the atomic bomb's discovery? It was
Yes,
done by
yes.
a group of scientists in Manhattan Project by Oppenheimer, and he used to read Gita, and that's why he learned Sanskrit for that also. How would you explain that?
That doesn't mean that following a religious trend would not be supporting a science. I was just saying that what science thinks is completely different from what religious books tells us, because they don't have, some of the religious beliefs don't have any kind of explanation. And
Joysa, you contradicted your own self that you are talking about those scriptures or the books, right? And superstitions have not been mentioned in these religious books. Religious beliefs are something which is dictated by these religious books like Quran or Gita, whatever. But superstitions are nowhere there.
yes, but
These are all man-made.
following, yeah, whatever it is, but I think whenever religion comes, it comes with a part of a sense of superstition, and that too has to be accepted, that it is true that when religion comes, it comes with a part of a sense of superstition.
Okay, Joyce.
Okay, Joyce, time is up. So,
Thank you.
Priyanshu, you can move to the next speaker.
So our next speaker is Subham Raj, and he's currently pursuing his BTech in BIT Sindri from Mining Branch, batch of 2K20, and he will be speaking against the motion. Subham, you can go ahead.
Okay. Science investigates, religion just interprets. Science makes man knowledgeable, which is power, while religion makes man wisdom, which is just control. Science deals with facts, while religion deals with values. They are not rival to each other, they are just complementary to each other. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, seniors. I am Suam Raj from Mining Department of Branch 2K20. I am here to present my view in against of the topic science and religion beliefs are antithesis to each other. In early 17th century, when there was a ancient historians of Greek, they have told a statement that science and religion both are interconnected to each other according to scientific study of religion. They also done an experiment, also done an observation of the human behavior changes and human behavior changing, and they saw that there are so many reasons because of the human behavior changing. Some are emotions or moralities. Emotions related to anyway related to science, but morality and religions they are also a point of human behavior changes. If we take an example of APJ Abdul Kalam, who have done his PSLV missile experiment, missile project in ISRO, he get failed 3 times on his experiment, and then he read a book, Bhagavad Gita, and he gets succeed in that project. This all observations says that anywhere science and religions are just congregate to each other, means it may be true, it may not be true for some valuable statement, and it may not be false for some valuable statement. So science and religions both are interrelated to each other.
I think Gayatri can
Okay,
continue.
so let's start the rebuttal session. Anyone want to ask question? Anyone from the participants, you may ask now.
Okay, so Shubham, I would like to ask one question.
Yes.
What would you say about the theory of rebirth that is written in a well-known book, Gita? So, what would you say about that?
So rebirth. Actually, this word rebirth is has no any link to science. It is just a religious belief that people get rebirth, or we can say punarjanam.
Any more questions? Anyone, if you want to ask, you may ask.
Shubham, can you repeat your conclusion?
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat your concluding point?
Sir, actually, my concluding point was that science and religious belief both are interrelated to each other. If we see gravity we see in science, it says that planets evolve around sun in an orbit. But if we see in the religious belief way, then we don't know who put that planet and who put that planet on that orbit to revolve around the sun.
Okay, so let's move on to next one, Vivek.
Okay, so the next speaker is Saurav Kumar Singh from Electrical Branch 2K21 batch of BIT Sindri. Saurav, if you are there.
Good evening, everyone, respected judges, seniors, and all my dear friends. My name is Saurabh Kumar Singh, and I'll be speaking in the affirmation of the topic science and religious beliefs are necessarily antithesis of each other. I would like to begin by a quote of Victor J. Stenger, professor of physics in University of Hawaii, who says that religion and science are like oil and water. They might coexist but cannot mix to produce a homogeneous mixture. I agree with Mr. Professor Victor. Religion and science
are incompatible together. They disagree profoundly on how we obtain knowledge of the world. On the one hand, science is based on empirical data, on experiments, on reasoning, on observations. But on the other hand, religion believes that there is an Almighty and we are accountable to the God. You can clearly see their disagreement. Another point will be science is related to the success of the method. The practice of science is related to the success of the method. We conduct an experiment, and if we succeed in it, then we report it, we write the law. But religion as a practice by most of the people is related to the failure of the method. When we are afraid of something that this might go wrong, then we practice religion, most of us. Also, another point will be science is too young. It is too young. It's a younger phenomena compared to religion, which is 1,000 years old. Also, we all know that religion is always based on authority. There are so many gods, and then there are preachers, and then there are us, the local masses. It's a chain of authority. But science gives you power. It gives you power to create anything by your own skill. At last, I would like to conclude by showing another contradiction between science and religion is that if you fundamentally see, science is just a way to satisfy the hunger of curious people. That's it. It does not teaches us moral values, ethical values, ethics. And religion fundamentally teaches us moral values and ethics. Without ethics and moral values, our world will collapse because we men are flawed. We are filled with feelings of treachery, cheating, and selfish behavior. I think I might have made myself clear now that both of these things, religion and science, are antithesis of each other. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Saurav. Gayatri, you can start the rebuttal.
Yeah, let's start the rebuttal session. Anyone has any question, you may ask.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Priyanka.
Yes.
Well, Saurav, you yourself at the end contradicted to your points in the beginning, and even the affirmative sides. You all said that science is
Yes.
something that is well planned, and religious is something that people blindly follow, and there is no logical reasoning. So let me tell you that what people blindly follow, that is not religious belief; those are superstitions. Don't you think so? And the other thing is that Bhagavad Gita and many such Vedas are there where we find much more explanations of even the things that exist in science, that all have come from the Vedas and Gita. And I think Bhagavad Gita is becoming has become the book that has been sold in the world on a larger scale, and not just people of the same religion, but people all over the world of different countries are following it and are accepting that yes, there is something in it. So you should. So don't you think that you contradicted yourself, that
Yeah.
we are
So
nothing
let
without
me take the
morals and
question.
ethics that science does not teaches us?
Yes, let me take the question. So, in my points, I am not showing which is better, religion or science. In one of my points, I showed religion is worse than science because it has an authority chain. In another point, I showed religion is better because it has ethical values and moral values. Because my topic was not to show which is better, I was just showing the contradicting nature of religion and science. So, I had to say both of these things. So this is not contradiction, first of all. Second of all, Bhagavad Gita book is being sold and all of these things. I understand that, you know, but my topic is I have to show the contradiction, the antithesis of religion and science, and I have showed that only, that they are not the same thing. There are different practices. So I think I have done that. Thank you.
Thank you, Saurav.
Thank you.
So,
Hello.
Priyanshu,
So do we have time left in the rebuttal session
okay,
for
so
him?
you want to ask a
Okay.
question?
Okay, Saurabh. So I'll return to the first question that I asked. Again, you said that they cannot they can coexist, but they cannot work together, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So again, I'm returning to the same question. How would you explain the existence and the consciousness of a human being? This is just a simple question. How does science explains the consciousness? If you could tell me.
Sir, science does not explain the consciousness. Consciousness comes from within. It is because we feel that somebody is watching us. We are accountable to God. So we take good steps. We don't do bad to
No,
other things. But that's
I'm not.
me.
Hello, Saurav.
Yes,
I'm not talking
yes,
about
yes.
morality. That is
Yeah.
completely different concept. I am talking about consciousness, that we are aware of our surroundings and we experience feelings. Right?
Hmm. Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
that is consciousness. I'm not talking about morality. Those are two different things.
Yes, sir.
So, for
So,
example, religion says that there is soul and that contribute to consciousness. But science have like no answer, no empirically derived answer. So how would you
correct, correct.
explain this? So can't I say that they together coexist or they together work to explain a human being?
Of course, they coexist together. I agree with that point completely. But I'm just trying to show that both of these practices are antithesis of each other. They can exist together, but they can't go hand in hand. Like, I'll give you a fact. Like, scientists think that Earth is a billion year old, but according to religion, Earth is just 6,000 years old. So if we take both of these things together, we can't come on a particular observation or a logical thinking, right? So we have to separate both of these practices differently and work together. Of course, they can exist together, but not when we are trying to arrive at an experimental data. We can't use religious facts. We have to be scientific. But again, when we are praying to our Lord, then we can't bring science into that. That how that we are wasting milk on the statues of our God. Both of these things are there. They can coexist, but they can't explain each other, or they are antithesis of each other. That's my final point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Think
Saurav.
you didn't get what is a debate. You don't need to explain both the points. You need to be stick to one point over here. And you are telling that there are certain contradictions, but I don't think that there is any contradiction as such that the Earth existed a billion years ago. All those data with exact numbers have been calculated from the Vedas and from the scriptures, and not from science. Though science has given that, but it's not solely based on that. So I don't think that you clarified it. And you said that they cannot coexist like ethics and morals. But I think, can you tell anything as such that doesn't coexist together? Any practice?
No, I always said they can coexist together, but we can't practice that together. Like when we are having an experiment, we can't do religious things there. And when we are praying to our Lord, we can't do scientific method there. Also, one thing which you said is that in Vedas it is written. I understand, but Vedas is just one religion. There are 100 other religions as well apart from Hinduism. So uh, religion is different, science is different. There is contradiction. They are antithesis of each other. Thank you.
Okay, so this was quite heated rebuttal. So Priyanshu, let's move on to the next speaker.
So our next speaker is Krishna. He is currently in class 9 and from Nelk Don Bosco School, and he will be speaking against the topic.
Is
Krishna, are you
Krishna
there?
there? I guess he's not there.
Acha. So Vivek,
Yeah,
move
he's not
forward.
there. So we will move on to the next speaker. It's Rishabh Singh from the branch of mining 2K19 by BIT Sindri. So, sir, if you are there, please.
Uh, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You can start.
Okay, so good evening, judges. So this is Rishabh Singh. I will speak for the motion. So I indeed accept that science and religious belief are necessarily Is there any problem? I think there is some pop-up in my Google Meet.
No,
Hello?
sir, you are clear.
No, sir.
No, sir, there is nothing.
Am I audible properly?
Yes, yes, you're
Yes, sir.
audible.
Yes, sir.
Continue.
Okay, so I will start now. I
Okay.
indeed accept that science and religious belief are necessarily antithesis of each other. I will start with the famous battle Mahabharata that happened in the history as per Hindu religious. And can anyone tell me the fact that can you get an arrow as powerful as nuclear missile, the one We call it as Brahmastra just by chanting some Sanskrit shlokas. Or Lord Hanuman has such a tremendous power that he can lift entire mountain with his hands. Or why the cups of Vasudev got opened during the birth of Krishna. Does science have answer to these facts? You might argue that these may be just the historical belief and don't have place in the modern world. Then, well, let me tell you, my dear friend, that the sixth door of the Padmanabha Swami temple is still closed, which is believed to be closed with some religious mantra. What is this? Or they might have answer to the question that why the temple of Shanidev in Rajasthan is not successfully made after several attempts. The temple is not made and is studied by several scientific. The reason is still not given by any scientist as such. Science gives explanation for everything, but on the other hand, beliefs or religious beliefs, it does not require any explanation. Even the famous scientist Richard Dawkins in his book The God Delusion mentioned that God doesn't exist. See, the entire puja system is not mentioned anywhere in the science, and all the so-called scientific guys, all these, according to them, all these rituals are nothing but just the wastage of money and time. So, I think with these examples, I have proved that the science and religious beliefs are necessary, not coexist with each other. Thank you. Now I am open for rebuttal round.
Okay, so Mukund, we can start the rebuttal.
Okay, let's now start the rebuttal. So, start with the questions. If anyone have any questions, judges, participants, anyone can ask. Okay, so I will start. So, what I see science is something that has been found through observations and experiments. So can't we say that these religious beliefs like myths are the future science because they have not yet been found? And I have an example. Like in very early age, there was, according to yogic culture, if we used charcoal was very much helpful in cleaning the germs of our teeth. But at that time, science used to oppose that. And nowadays, in our Colgate and every toothpaste, charcoal is been added. So can't we say that religious beliefs are just future science because it has not yet been proven?
See, I can agree with you in a bit of manner. See, science is not developed at that time as such. So they have given some arbitrary fact at that time. And the charcoal that you just explained is at that time. But what about, like I have mentioned about the Brahmastra? It was just something that you get an arrow with having such a power as nuclear missile by chanting just some Sanskrit shlokas. Do you think science will ever be able to explain such fact? I don't think so, and I don't think it can be explained by any manner. So I will stick to the point that science and religious belief can't coexist with each other. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Rishabh. As you said that by chanting mantra and shlokas, we cannot clarify that it's related with science. But as of you, have you read Hanuman Chalisa?
Yeah.
And in Hanuman Chalisa, it is mentioned that the distance from Earth to the Sun. And scientifically, it is proven that the distance from the Earth to the Sun is as same as mentioned in Hanuman Chalisa.
See, can you be a bit louder about what you are asking in Hanuman Chalisa?
I'm saying that in Hanuman Chalisa, the distance between Earth and Sun is mentioned. Okay. And scientifically, it has also been proven the same. So would you like to contradict that also?
See, what was given there, it may be because of some scientific equipment or maybe some device may be present at that time with the help of which they have measured and written those. But I don't see the relevance of your question with the topic, how it is related to religious beliefs or something like that.
In religious belief, it has been written in Hanuman Chalisa, Juk Sahas Yojan Par Bhanu Liyo Tahi Madhur Fal Jano.
Yeah, but it is not. You can't. Can you can't say na how it is written. It may be that there may be some scientific equipment. You if you
In
have
that period of time, how
properly,
can you make
Do you
construct
think
such a
that there
scientific
would be
equipment
like
scientific
if you
in
have
that
equipment
point
at
of
that
time?
time?
properly studied
Is it
the
possible?
Ramayana, there they have mentioned like they used to have prayog even in Lanka, they have Prayogshala of. So they may have devices or equipments in such Prayogshalas with the help of which they used to measure the distance of different planetary bodies. So this may be the fact, what I believe.
So it is given in religious belief also that the distance about sun to earth. So would you like to contradict it also?
Or what?
Would you like to contradict that point also?
Which point I
From the distance of earth to the sun.
Yeah, I told the same. Na, they must have measured it with some proper equipment at that time, and that's why they have written in such scriptures like Hanuman Chalisa and
Do
all.
you think that there were any such script devices for the at
Yeah,
that
yeah,
time
I
with
properly
measurement?
believe that.
Can you specify any?
Like, see, uh,
It's okay, your time.
what I can say, yeah, I just remembered one example. See, that you remember Lord Rama. Lord Rama has such a powerful arrow. The arrow has such a tremendous power that with a single shot it can crush this. It can go through 7 palm trees. So the arrow must have been designed in such a way or in such a manner that it is such powerful so that so see the main ideology behind the fact is that the science at that time was such developed that they can design such equipment or such weapons at that time.
Are you not trying to contradict yourself? You just said about Brahmastra.
See, Brahmastra is
Now
something
you're saying
having a
about Lord
power of
Rama's arrow.
nuclear missile just by chanting slokas. You didn't read, I think, heard properly. Just by chanting slokas, it was written. If you chant, there
Yes,
is a
Lord Rama
even.
also did the same thing by chanting slokas only.
Yeah.
Lord Ram also did the same thing by chanting slok only.
And I disagree with that. He didn't chant slok at that time. If you have read Ramayana properly. He didn't
Okay,
chant
I
any
think this
slok
Okay,
rebuttal
at
with
that
that,
session
time. But see, in
was the most
Dhanurvedam,
fiery
The
one.
design which you are
see,
specifying that
in
came from
Dhanurvedam,
there
it has been
itself, not
mentioned.
from science.
Types
See,
of
if
things which you are trying
anyone
to
has
say, you are
ever
okay,
gone
okay,
contradicting
to
we need
like
to stop.
Sagar, just you listen to my point. If you have ever got time to read about Dhanurvedam, there it is written a proper slokas. If you will read it in 10 lakh time, then you will get a Brahmastra. It is properly written in that. So if you will have time, just go through that. You might get what I'm trying to say.
and if you
Okay,
will
we
get
can
it, I
go.
think that
Okay,
you
okay,
will
we
So
find
can
The
yes,
go
the
ahead.
design
point
which
was
you are
there.
telling of
We
the
can
arrow,
move
that
forward.
also came
Okay,
from
Let's
there
move
itself, not
okay,
ahead.
from
that would
science.
be
Ma'am,
fine.
I
We can
prefer
go
to
ahead with
forward.
our competition. Okay,
We
we
have
can
been
go ahead with the time competition. constraints, and Proceed, there huh? are other participants also. So
Priyanshu,
kindly
please call
continue
the
with your.
last debater
Okay, thank you.
for the
So the last speaker is Piyush Raj. He is currently pursuing his BTech in BIT Sindri from Mechanical Branch, batch of 2K20, and he will be speaking against the motion.
So,
Piyush?
a very warm and pleasant good afternoon to one and all present here. Respected panel of judges and my fellow colleagues. This is Piyush Raj from Department of Mechanical Engineering, batch of 2K20, and I'm gonna speak against the motion on the topic Science and religion beliefs are necessarily antitheses of each other. So first of all, what is science and what is religion? So, religion is based on the facts and the rituals, whereas science depends on the experiments and the verification of those facts. But religion is more than just being facts and rituals. It shows us the connection, and it also has the explanation of universe and a way of interpreting the natural order. So, science and religion are overlapping spheres. Many religions, such as Hinduism or Muslim, every religion says they contain the elements of science and that they discovered it long ago than the science discovered it. For example, the antimicrobial properties of copper or the health benefits of turmeric. Now, there is a close relationship between science and religion. Religion teaches us the principle of morality, and the science should always be guided by that principle of morality. Some people devote their life to the study of science and become a great prophets. The scientific power becomes more and more effective and benevolent only when it is guided by religion and morality. Belief in God does not mean that disbelief in science. One may believe in both, and time has come when scientists have also realized that religion begins when science ends. Sometimes the science is not able to fully comprehend the mystery of the universe, and at that time, he believes that there may be some invisible power. So, there is a need for harmony between science and religion, and therefore, it is quite evident that science and religion should work together for a well being of humanity. At last, I would like to take an example of the women in Hinduism practicing fasting. So now they used to practice fasting on various days like Sundays, Tuesdays, or means Thursdays. And now science has also guaranteed that it is helpful for it also has health benefits as well as helpful for human body, as means if you are having fasting for one day, it will be beneficial for your health. So thank you. I think they should be they are in correlation with each other and they are related to each other.
Okay, so Mukund, thank you, Piyush.
Yeah,
Mukund, we
so
can start
let's
the
now
rebuttal.
start with the rebuttal session. If anyone has any questions, please ask.
Okay, so Piyush, since you're
Yes.
the last participant, I can ask you this. So, according to your statement, religion and science go hand in hand, right?
Yes.
But how can you really claim that if there are religions that really don't go along with each other very well? There are Christianity, there is Islam that go against each other. There is Judaism, which goes against Christianity again. There is Hinduism that is very different from Islam. So how do you say that these elements that really are not in same direction are in line with something that is completely different?
So like the elements as told the elements in Hinduism, like the antimicrobial properties of copper, we used to eat in the copper plates, and that was practiced long ago by Hinduism. And we also used to have turmeric. It is also beneficial for getting down your fever. So it has been proven by science now. That was means practiced in Hinduism. And talking about Islam, Islam also goes means the different ideologies of different religions goes hand in hand with different aspects of science. Means if the religions could go not hand in hand, but the ideologies go hand in hand with the science. I mean the individual religion and the science goes hand in hand.
But there are multiple instances that claim otherwise. Like some say it's good to eat before sunrise, and some say it's good to eat before after sunrise. So how would you explain these things? Because they are contradictory to each other, right?
Yes, sir, but it means it could not be 100% link and link. If it's then means everything could not go 100% line in line with each other. But to the maximum extent, they go hand in hand with each other.
Exactly. So that's partial, right? So it's not absolute.
Yes, sir, but means science could not neither science nor religion supports each other 100%, but both of them justifies each other and supports each other. Each other.
All right. That's what I'm trying to say. Like nobody made this argument that nothing is absolute. Everything is like partially or relative to some standards. So you
Yes,
need
sir.
to understand that. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
So we have come to the conclusion. So Gayatri, you can conclude.
Okay, so I'm extremely thankful to all our jury members, Avinav sir, Samantha ma'am, Rahul sir, Revti sir, and Shivam sir, who spared time from their busiest schedule and graced this event. And without them, this event would have not been possible. I also like to thank all the participants for participating in this event. Wow, power of words, and making it even more exciting with their wonderful speeches. Thank you all.
Anyone, if they
Anyone, if
want to
they
add
want to
something,
add
they can
something,
speak.
they can
So
speak.
they
So,
can.
yes, jury members, if you would like to say anything.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we can wrap up. So it was a great debate. Science, religions, both are different, but there are some similarities. Some we have reasons for some of the ideologies. We don't have reasons for some of the ideologies, but we have to go hand in hand. That's the faith. So with that word, I would like to wrap up this meet. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so there is a feedback form in the chat box. Please give your feedback.
Okay, so participants, you can. Results will be announced this evening.